On Republic TV, we have a big breaking news coming from the national capital. This is regarding the option regarding the impeachment of Justice Verma. But what we are learning so far is that the union government is weighing the option of bringing in Parliament an impeachment motion against Allahabad High Court Judge Yashwant Varma. Remember, he had been indicted by the Supreme Court appointed probe panel after the discovery of a huge sum of burnt cash from his official residence in the national capital. Now, sources in the government have indicated that an impeachment motion in the Parliament, which meets next during the monsoon session starting in the second half of the July, is an obvious choice if Justice Verma, who was, remember, transferred from Delhi High Court to Allahabad High Court after the unsavory incident, does not resign on his own. So if he doesn't resign, then in the next session of the Parliament, this impeachment motion could be brought by the government. Well, I'm joined by Advocate Swapnil Kothari, who joins us live on the broadcast. Mr. Kothari, I have this question for you. Now, the government is even thinking about bringing the impeachment motion as far as recovery of cash from Justice Yashwant Sinha's house is concerned. Remember, he was transferred from Delhi High Court to Allahabad High Court. How do you see this legally?
First of all, good morning, Akanksha. You can call me Swapnil, no problem. Well, I do believe that the impeachment should be done. He was given an option after an unfavorable report that you please resign. He chose not to. I think wiser counsel should have prevailed and he should have resigned because ultimately you are not bigger than the judiciary. The judiciary occupies a certain position, a certain stature in our democracy. And, it's nobody's business when there is an unfavorable report, and that too by three eminent judges, and which has been presented to the President, that, and of course to the Chief Justice, that obviously you had your hands in the cookie jar, and 50 crores, even if it's 5 lakhs, 50 crores is a very, very huge amount. So one can imagine the enormity of the scandal. Now, I hope that there is no politics in this, in the sense that when Parliament goes and starts the impeachment proceedings, which it needs to, and which I believe it will, there are requisite numbers, Akanksha. If the requisite numbers are not met, then it's not going to be possible to remove him. Ultimately, you may decide that we don't give him judicial work. People will not, lawyers like us will not go to his court. And eventually he may decide to step down. But at the end of the day, numbers need to be met. Because I believe that when 50 crores, a sum of 50 crores is involved, that means it's a slew of judgments. A slew of decision-making has been involved, judgments for cash. Now, obviously, that means that this kind of an amount does not just come from corporates. There has to be some political hand in it. So if that particular political hand is going to have some sway in him not getting the requisite numbers for impeachment, then that's a big body blow to the impeachment proceeding in that sense. There has never been an impeachment in the past 70 years. There have been impeachment proceedings that have been initiated. Worst was Mr. Justice Ramaswamy. But the numbers were not met. Then Soumitra Sen, Pardiwala. There are several instances. Somebody, I don't remember the judge, but against him, there was a motion moved in Rajya Sabha. Eventually, wiser counsel prevailed and he decided to resign before the impeachment process thoroughly went through. So, Akanksha, it's extremely important that people who have been caught with their hands in the cookie jar realize, and especially Mr. Justice Verma realizes that this is a very, very bad thing for the judiciary. And at the end of the day, if impeachment proceedings are there, I doubt that he's got very little in his defense to say, especially when there is an unfavorable report on the basis of which the impeachment proceedings have taken place.
Absolutely. And Mr. Kothari, I want to understand from you and through you about the legal fraternity, because there were a lot of demands for the resignation of Justice Verma. Through you, I want to understand, and you must have spoken to a lot of lawyers, your friends as well. What do they have to say about this entire saga that has unfolded in the last 2 months?
Well, Akanksha, it's, none of us like it. First of all, I've been coming on, Republic TV since its inception. And prior to that, I've been with Arnab since a long, long time from Times Now. And, he and I have discussed many things. And one of the most important things is that we've never discussed the judiciary. That was the stature of the judiciary. Yes, you may have a rotten apple, but, this rot needs to be fixed. So we as lawyers, me and my fraternity members, we do discuss this, but it's always with a sense of despondency that what day and age are we living in? That's something of the stature of judiciary. And I'm not being partial because I'm a lawyer, but because in this democracy of 140 crore people, it is the judiciary that is running the country. Yes, we may have a statesman like Mr. Modi. There's no question about that. But ultimately, the people's faith is there in the Prime Minister. It's only as far as the executive decisions are concerned. But when you want, say, triple talaq, when you want right to privacy, all of those things have emanated from the judiciary. Decriminalization of Section 377, that is homosexuality. So all of these path-breaking judgments have been given by the Supreme Court, where it touches the people to the core and in vitality as such. So the point is that the impact of the judiciary has been enormous since the time the Supreme Court has started giving judgments, and of course the High Courts as well. So for us to have this kind of a scandal, especially at the level of a High Court judge with 50 crores caught in the backyard, is something which, we hope that this was a bad dream and we don't ever get this in our lifetime. At least in my lifetime, I don't want this to ever happen. And I hope it doesn't happen in the future, generations as well. Because it bodes very well. It bodes very ill for the country.
It reflects very badly at the country. So trouble is mounting for Justice Yashwant